Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with a review of the WLtoys Q333-A. Now, interestingly, the box does not say WLtoys on it anywhere, and it has this weird racing with two eyes in Future 1. So I don't know if they're like trying to hide that this is a WLtoys model to make it seem more legit or something, or I'm not sure what's going on here. But anyway, as you can probably see, this is basically a design clone of the DJI Inspire. And the reason I call it a design clone is because it's really only a clone as far as looks go. It is not a clone as far as functionality or features or any of that kind of stuff. This is definitely, kind of an entry-level hobby grade, some people call it toy grade, version of the Inspire. It's just brushed motors with gears. It's not brushless, and it is not like an actual true aerial video platform by any means. There's no camera and gimbal hanging down below like the Inspire has. This is our camera here in the nose, which is just, kind of your standard 2 megapixel 720 HD camera. It does have 5.8 gigahertz FPV, so you do have a real-time monitor. But I would have liked to seen at least a wide-angle lens. That would have been a little more, aerial video style. Or, ultimately, I would have liked to see a camera hanging down and at least a one-axis gimbal so that, when the quad tilted forward and backward, the gimbal leveled that out. Because it's kind of weird to make it look like an Inspire and then give it none of the features that make it, good for aerial video. This doesn't even have altitude hold on it, which is really weird considering how popular that is these days. It's just, a normal throttle. It doesn't even have altitude hold. So I just think it's just a really kind of strange model when it looks like the Inspire and that's about it. The legs do function like the Inspire, so you've got two different steps. You've got them all the way down. You press a button and they'll level out to be straight. Then you press it again and they'll lift up above it. So now the body hangs down below while the arms angle up like this, and you've got your props up higher. And the reason for the Inspire to do that is because the camera hangs down below and now it can rotate 360 degrees and it doesn't catch any of the landing gear or props in view. But this being able to do that is completely pointless because this camera doesn't see the legs ever. Even when they're all the way down like this, you don't see them because it's such a narrow field of view. The legs moving up and down is completely pointless. It doesn't do anything to get the props out of view of the camera. As far as I can tell, it doesn't change flight characteristics at all. It seems to fly pretty much the same in every arm position that I could tell. However, I did mount, this is kind of where the battery plugs in here into the top of the body, and then I guess this is just kind of an event to sort of let it cool a little bit. But it does have this like foam bottom here, and so I mounted my Mobius to that. I strapped it onto there and wrapped a bunch of rubber bands around the body, so that kind of acted like a little bit of an anti-vibration pad. However, I still did get quite a bit of jello wobble in my footage. But I put my Mobius on that pad there, and it did, since it's got the wider angle and it's down here and it's back, it did see the legs when they were down, but then when they lifted up, they got out of the frame. So it actually did serve a purpose there when you mount your own camera on it. And it could carry the Mobius just fine. It could probably carry... no, you know what? I'm going to say I don't even think it could carry a GoPro. It barely was doing the Mobius, and even without the Mobius, it feels a little bit underpowered at times. So I think it would really struggle if, even take off at all with a GoPro. And then, like I always say, when you've got brushed motors, if you're lifting a GoPro, you're, just asking to kill your motors anyway. So I don't even think this could probably do a GoPro, but something like a Mobius or a keychain cam should work decently. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on. So this is the battery here, which is tending to be a little more common these days, where you get this proprietary battery. It's made to, kind of look like the more high-end ones where it, it just snaps into place and then it kind of molds with the body and finishes out the body. But it just, as soon as you plug it in, it's on. So I might as well show. We've got nice big LED pads across the legs there. So you got green in the front and red in the back. So I like those. The LEDs are very visible, big and bright. But I would have liked to see an on-off switch. So, like it does have like a power button looking thing there, but it's just molded in the plastic. It doesn't actually function. So I would have liked to see an on-off switch so I could plug the battery in and not have it immediately turn on. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it looks like, it's a pretty standard LiPo just plugged into this frame, but now you've got this plug here, so it requires this special, we've got a wall charger here that has this kind of adapter that you plug into the battery like that now to charge it. So I can't charge this off of anything but this stock charger. So I think that's really weird and kind of limits your possibilities with it. Let's see, that is a 2S LiPo, 2000 milliamp hour. It takes about 3 hours and 15 minutes to charge, and you get about 9-minute long flights with about a 15-second LVC warning. So that's, again, a pretty short LVC warning for an aerial video platform. Go ahead and move the controller here. So like I said, it is 5.8 gigahertz, so we've got our FPV monitor there. That does have its own power supply, so I'll go show you here. We've got a USB charger for that FPV monitor, a spare set of props, and then we also got a USB card reader because it does come with its own USB card here, which plugs into the side. We'll go ahead and pop that out. That is a 4 gigabyte micro SD card. Go ahead and put that back. Oop, just sprung out and fell on the floor. Let me pick that up real quick. Alright, so yeah, and then one more spare part here, whatever the extra parts we've got. This is a sun visor for the FPV monitor, so you can, springs out like that and blocks the sun from the screen. But anyway, back to the transmitter. So this is, pretty standard WLtoys style. It actually kind of has this like suede rubberized plastic, so it has a really nice feel in the hands. I like the look and the style of the transmitter. But like most of theirs, we've got rates. We've got the 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th rate on the top button over here. So a little bit awkward to try to fly and then pick your rate on a face button there. But yeah, it does have those 4 rates, and the yaw changes, and it's a pretty good yaw. It's got a nice speed to it, and it matches the pitch. It does fly pretty sporty. It's actually a little bit pitchy and fast for an aerial video platform. Again, another kind of a weird thing. It seems to fly more sporty than it does for an aerial video platform. Our right bumper here is how you change the leg. So you just click it, and it changes between each different mode. You can like click it twice real quick, and it'll go from one all the way to the other. You don't have to wait for it to get to the next position. So if you do it twice, it'll go all the way up or all the way down. Left bumper is how you start the camera recording, so then it does record to the memory card while you have your FPV view as well, but it does record to the card right from the camera, so any interference you get from your FPV signal doesn't come through in the footage. You do have nice clean footage, but again, like I said, it's just the standard 2 megapixel 720p, so it's not super high quality footage. Let's see, what else do we have? This button here turns off the LEDs. If you press and hold it, it's going to do that return to home where it uses headless mode to just fly backwards, so not very reliable. If you press this bottom right button, that changes through the FPV frequency, so if you get some noise or something, I think you can kind of cycle through until you get a connection that's nice and clean. And then if you press and hold that, that's how you turn on headless mode. Let's see, if you hold both sticks down to the left, that's how you recalibrate the accelerometer. And then this does weigh 630 grams, so that is well over the weight limit for FAA registration, so you do need to be registered for this one. There is no flips, so again, in kind of a weird mix of somewhat sporty, but then doesn't have flips. It's somewhat aerial video, but not really. There's no altitude hold. The camera's kind of lackluster. So just a really weird model. I'm not really sure what the intended use or market is for this, you know, other than just kind of the novelty of it looking like an Inspire. That's really all it is. It just looks like an Inspire, but doesn't really function like one. I think that's covered all my details. Let me just flip through my notes real quick. Yep, that's all there was to say about it. So let's go take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the WLtoys Q333. This is basically a stylistic clone of the DJI Inspire 1. Obviously not actually anywhere compared to that in functionality or camera or anything. This is kind of a low-level entry grade, or entry-level hobby grade, brushed motor, stuff like that. It's not the actual aerial video platform that the actual Inspire is. This just has your standard little 2 megapixel camera in the nose of it here. It doesn't have a gimbal or anything hanging down below it. I wish they would have at least gone with the wide angle lens on it. It's kind of strange to have this sort of platform and then such a minor little camera on it. But the arms do go up and down just like the Inspire, but again, it's kind of pointless because you don't, the point of moving the arms up is that it gets out of the way of the camera, and then the Inspire camera can shoot in a 360-degree angle around it. But with this, with the camera coming out of the nose of it, the legs don't get in the way. So it's really just, a novelty and just to kind of look like the Inspire, but it doesn't actually function anything like it. It is a pretty neat quad though. It's got really good LEDs on the legs there, red in the back and green in the front, and it's quite sporty actually. No altitude hold either, which is again kind of weird for going for a camera platform. But I'm in 100% rate, so just kind of fly it for a bit. And like I said, it is actually pretty sporty. It can feel a little bit underpowered at times, especially if you try getting too crazy with it. But for the most part, it doesn't feel too heavy in the air. It's actually pretty nimble and responsive. Go ahead and show the legs. So right now they're at their lowest point. If I hit the right bumper, you'll see them move up, and now they kind of have just a normal flat level point, and then hit it again, and now they're up high. And that's kind of what the Inspire really looks like there. When you've got the camera, when you're filming with the Inspire and it's got the legs way up high like that and the camera hanging down below and nothing in its way. So this is the coolest look here. This is when it really looks the most like the Inspire. It's pretty neat looking. And this can carry a Mobius. I did mount my Mobius to the bottom of it, and it's got the power to carry it. It's clearly going to take off your flight time quite a bit, and the extra weight makes it a little bit harder to fly, but it's got the power to do it. So it makes a little bit more sense when you've got a camera like the Mobius mounted below it, because on the lowest setting, the legs are actually visible in that case. Let's go ahead and hit the left bumper and start filming. Film my neighbor coming in here. And if you tap the right bumper twice, you can move the legs all the way from their full position one way to the other. You don't have to do it in steps. You can make it go all at once. Whoa, it did something really weird there. It started flying way off to the left on me, and I couldn't even correct it with full right stick input. So I quick stop the camera. I think the accelerometer got confused or something. Yeah, now it's back to normal. That's weird. It was angling really hard to the side. Alright, let's go ahead and start the camera back up. So I wanted to, first let's drop the legs all the way down and see, yeah, it's still, they're not visible in the camera at all. But like I said, if you've got a Mobius mounted to the bottom of it and it's got the wider angle, it can see the legs when they're all the way down. So when you lift the legs up, it gets out of the way of the Mobius, so that's kind of cool. Look, it's doing it again. It's angling. What is it doing? Get my landing gear down. Get down, get down, get down. Like, it did it again. It is leaning really hard to the side. Like the accelerometer is getting confused on me. I don't know if that's because I keep changing the legs. And now it's fine once I take off again. I don't understand what's going on here. I have no idea if this is a level surface, but hold both sticks down to the left and that recalibrates the accelerometer. Let's try that. Keeps getting really weird on me. And I've given this thing several test flights so far and that has not happened, so not sure what exactly is going on there. Kind of fly for a bit and see if it acts up at all. I think I got enough camera sample. Like I said, I mean, it's just your standard 2 megapixel camera. There's nothing special about the camera at all. It's a little disappointing when you're trying to clone pretty much the best you know, entry-level professional aerial video platform on the market right now. You should give it a little bit better camera. I think at least a wide angle lens would have made it seem a little bit more, you know, intended for aerial video. As it is in this current form, it's really just novelty, not really much functionality in it. It's cool though. I mean, it looks very neat and original, that's for sure. Well, other than being a DJI clone, but I mean, as far as anything else in this sort of grade, toy grade as some people would call it, but you know, low-end hobby grade, this definitely stands out from the rest. Kind of get a funnel going. That's full throttle. There it goes. It's starting to get some height. I can even do a pretty decent funnel. I haven't noticed any or much difference in flight characteristics depending on where the arms are. It seems to fly pretty much the same. Oh, LEDs are blinking, so I got LVC, so drop the legs back down and bring her in for a landing. So yeah, pretty cool model, but just a little bit pointless in a way. And there my throttle was dropping, so that was the entire flight there, full flight duration off a fully charged battery. Pretty cool, definitely, you know, a cool look, but not quite a really, you know, true aerial video platform unless you're planning on mounting your own camera to it, which when I did it, I put my Mobius right there on that foam part, so it actually had a little bit of vibration dampening on it. It still had some jello wobble, but I haven't, you know, balanced the props or anything, so you could probably make that a little bit better. But yeah, anyway, pretty neat model. A little bit weird, but pretty cool. Alright, we'll check the video description for a price and purchase link. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.